So he started out playing basketball at Army for Coach Bobby Knight. Then he developed into his own man, took over a program at Duke and turned it into a world beater. Several national championships, coach of the USA Olympic team, gold medals. Coach K has almost done it all when it comes to the world of basketball. Some might argue that he's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach of college basketball of all time. Now, he's off to his retirement tour. 2021-2022 will be Coach K's last season as a college basketball coach. How do you feel about it? Well, stay tuned to see how I feel about it and my guest today after this.
What a hit! Ball's free! On the ground! South Carolina deserves this for the home run! Hopkins has got it! Touchdown, Clemson! Guess which dogs are barking first? Uga, get after it!
Welcome into the Fan Act, a sports channel for sports fans by a sports fan. I'm your boy, Coach I. Well, my Georgia Dogs at. Today we're going to be talking about Coach K and his retirement tour to start. I mean, Kobe, rest in heaven. He did a retirement tour. Dwayne Wayne got him a little retirement tour. Now Coach K's off to his. How you feel about it? Is it right? Is Jon Scheyer the next guy? I mean, is he the right guy, I should say? Some Duke fans might agree. Some Duke fans might disagree. But we're going to bring in my friend Kevin, who is a Duke through and through fan. I mean, to the bone. Family graduated from Duke, everything. We're going to bring him in, get his opinion, thoughts on Coach K, best basketball teams at Duke, best championships, favorite players, and if Jon Scheyer is actually the right guy. All right, Kevin, let's jump right into it, man. Coach K and his retirement tour, man. Do you think, I'm saying, it was the right thing to do, a retirement tour, instead of waiting to the end of the season? Go ahead and announce it now.
I don't want to bounce to the football already, but I don't think he wanted a Steve Spurrier type situation where all of a sudden now you got kids that are decommitting and it's a bad look. So I figured something like that was coming, to be 100%.
I didn't even think about that because now he's actually putting – next man up, Jon Scheyer. He's actually putting him in a better position. Not that I don't know what the coaching going to be like with Jon Scheyer. We'll get into that in a minute. But at least, like you say, at least it's not like Spurrier where you're midway through the season. Now you got to try to convince the recruits that's already either interested or committed, like, hey, man, things aren't going to change or whatever. He's giving them a full year to say, hey, I'm not here next year. It's going to be Jon.
Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of times – people think that Mike Krzyzewski's disingenuous. I happen to think that he's a very sincere person. So I think when he's sitting down in kids' living rooms talking with their parents, and I think they look him in the eye, I think he didn't want to look at somebody in the face and just lie to him and be like, yeah, man, in 3 years, I can't wait to have you in Durham, and then we'll get you up to the NBA. I think he wanted to be honest and say, hey, it's not going to be me when you get there. So I think – like I said, I think a lot of people feel like he's a disingenuous person. I disagree with that. I think he's a very honest stand-up guy. So, maybe I'm naive, but that's just me.
I think that's like I say, I grew up a Dookie, man, and I think it's one of those things. Coach K, unfortunately, is kind of like Notre Dame. You either like him or you don't. It's like there's no middle ground, unfortunately, with Coach K. And I'm like you. I don't think if he's such a disingenuous guy, like you said, a lot of people say, why would he announce, okay, look, next year I'm not going to be here, dude. Like, I'm just letting you know before you commit, I'm not going to be here. Because like you said, he could have just said, he knew he wanted to retire. He could have just waited to the end of the season and be like, hey, 2 more games left. I'm out of here, bro. Championship or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think this has been in the works for a while. And definitely, I think once Roy Williams decided to hang it up, I think that's when he said, okay, you know what? It's time. I need to move on. We need to let bring in the next year. It's the changing of the guard. They needed to bring in the next man up and carry on the tradition. But I think he knew it was coming. He realized it was time. So
now, let me see if you can be honest now.
All right.
The last couple of years, do you believe Coach K been really coaching? I'm gonna tell you mine. You can think about it, but I'm gonna tell you. Look, I think since the 2015 championship with Tyus Jones and Okafor, like that season, even though they had a really talented team, Coach K was coaching. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Then,
yes,
like,
because that was the year they first brought in the 2-3 zone.
yes, and then, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they brought in the 2-3 zone. Coach K was like, and that's like, Coach K all against the zone, But
Yep.
for a couple of years, his good friend Bayham been on the USA staff with him, in his ear, and he was like, okay, if I really want to do this thing, I gotta be able to switch it up. But then, 2016, more so 2017, 2018, those one and done start. Coach K never was a really one and done type of coach. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he started targeting those guys, and I'm like, Coach, that's not your game. Like you make the what is it? The
Brian Zubek.
Yeah, you make the Zubeks of the world third team All ACC, and you.
All right, so I'm gonna I hate doing this, but I'm gonna sit square on the fence. All right. I don't think he was not coaching. However, what I think he quit doing was recruiting.
Okay.
I think it had little to nothing to do with recruiting. I think it was all Jeff Capel. I think it was 100% Jeff Capel. And I think what happened is, I mean, I'm sure you watch them when you pull up kids' hoop mixtapes and then a Peach Jam, and then I'll go like, oh, John Calipari and Coach K are sitting in the stands. I think all that was Jeff Capel said, hey, this dude is 50-50 us in Kentucky or 50-50 us in North Carolina. I think the deal maker for us is if you come and sit in the stands. If his mom and dad see you sit in the stands, he's going to come and play for us. So I think he was sheerly the big gun that Jeff Capel brought out when he had no other reason.
And in the recruitment, I feel like he was going after players that even in high school, you watch him and you like, this dude is not going to be in college long. Whereas before, he wasn't doing that. I don't think he looked at Tyus Jones and said, oh, one and done, definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe Okafor, but not Tyus Jones.
Okafor, I don't think Tyus, either one of the Jones brothers, he looked at him.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the way it's been going. A lot of these kids, man, they go before they're ready. Oh my gosh, what was the Frank Jackson? That's the one I always think of.
Oh my gosh.
Freshman year, I'm like, this kid's going to be a great 3 or 4 year project. I can't wait to see what he's going to do in his junior senior year. Then he up and leaves. I'm like, dude, you're not ready, man. You're not ready.
No, he had talent-wise, yes, but you need to know more about the game, and that's what Coach K could have taught you. And like you said, I think he had a couple of those. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jabari Parker.
Oh yeah,
Jabari Parker. He wasn't a Duke. He wasn't a Duke player. I know people outside of the Blue Nation don't understand, but if you watch Coach K over the years, Jabari Parker, I'm gonna tell you two people. Listen, when we got him, at the time I was like, okay, they're talent, whatever. Coach K will try to work their magic, but two players, I believe they just were not Duke players.
I bet I can guess them.
Jabari Parker, and you already know the other one. Austin.
I'm gonna guess Harry Giles. That's who I think.
You know what? I forgot about Harry Giles, but Austin Rivers.
Oh yes.
Listen, they are all chuckers. Coach K does not do well with chuckers. I'm sorry, he doesn't. That's a Calipari thing. You know what I'm saying? Calipari, and as a coach, you got to know how to relate to the players. Coach K can't relate. He was never good at relating to that. He relates to team guys, regardless of what your talent level was. He relates to team guys. Calipari, he gets the John Walls, the Anthony Davises, the Tyler Heroes. He can do that. And when we got Austin Rivers, I was like, cool, he can ball, but I watching his game, I'm like, he's not a team guy,
No, it's all about me. How can I get my shot?
And of course, the Duke Nation, they forgave all that when he hit the shot against North Carolina. I'm like, but
I'll tell you right now, I hated him. The entire time I hated him. When that possession began, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in my living room. I'm screaming with my grandfather, Duke alum, class of 51 or 54, excuse me. I'm sitting there screaming. I'm like, pass Seth Curry the ball. Pass Seth the ball. Pass Seth the ball. And then he shoots. And I'm like, no! And then he hits the shot, forgot. Forgot all about it.
Forgot exactly.
It's all forgiven.
Exactly.
It's all forgiven. But you're right. He was never a Duke guy.
No.
He never had that personality.
Seth Curry was a better Duke guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a team player. He hits the open shot. He can ball. He has a high basketball IQ. Not that Austin Rivers doesn't have a high basketball IQ, but his game just didn't fit.
Debatable, but
but his game
Daddy's
just
got the brain.
Once he won with Tyus and Jaleel, it's like you said, he really wasn't paying attention to recruiting. And he's getting these guys that he really can't put real development into because all they're doing is looking for the league. I don't know what John Shire going to do.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But, you know, sticking with Coach K, since he's retiring, I want to ask you, so give me 2 of your favorite Coach K teams.
So I could go outside, but I like to think of teams. I'm only 26, so I like to think of teams from my lifetime that I remember well. I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna give you 3.
Right.
I got to expand it.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
The Zion Williamson team of 2018.
Okay.
I love that team.
Okay.
I love. That's when the brotherhood stuff really came together. That, and then the 2015 as well. 2015 with Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen emerged. I love that team. My favorite team of all time was the 2005-2016. That was a team that lost in the Sweet 16 to LSU with J.J. Redick his senior year, Sheldon Williams his senior year, the landlord. Now not even the best basketball player in his own household.
I know, right?
Which is crazy. But that, man, listen, I don't cry very often. They lost that game and J.J. Redick walked off the floor one last time in a Duke jersey. I cried. Yes, I know most of YouTube's going to be, I hate J.J. J.J.'s trash.
Bro,
no, listen.
The thing is, people didn't like J.J. and a lot of Duke players because they're really good.
Exactly.
And you know, and so when you come,
they hate them because they ain't them.
And the
they
thing is, like with JJ, when he first came into Duke, he wasn't even a trash talker. But it's like everywhere he went, they was on him. So, hey, you know me, I'm giving it back to you.
Yeah.
And then JJ said, "Hey man, if this is how it's gonna be, then let's do it." And then from there, now now Christian Laettner, he was a bad guy. He's just he's a good basketball player. He's just a bad guy.
yeah, he had a lot of game. Now JJ, man, and I love watching the progression of JJ because it came in and he was a spot up shooter, and he was a free throw guy. He was a guy that you put on the free throw line. If he made it to the free throw line, then it was a guaranteed 2 or a guaranteed 3. And the progression started where he became more of a ball handler. He could work off the dribble and create his own shot. He became a better passer. He could play the 1 or the 2.
Yep.
JJ Redick, my favorite all time. I know that question may be on there. I'm not sure. However, I'll tell you right now, JJ Redick is my favorite all-time Duke basketball player. Hands down, it's not close.
Okay. That question was coming up, and we'll get to that. I'll tell you my 2 favorite, because I am older than you. I'm 43. So my 2 favorite Duke teams was the 2015 championship team with Tyus Jones, Okafor, Justice Winslow, Grayson Allen,
Quinn Cook.
Quinn Cook is in my top 5 all-time Duke players. Favorite for me.
That's a true Duke player,
bro,
right there.
I followed Quinn Cook from high school, AAU. Like I watched everything, and I was like, when we got him, I was like, one day he gonna be he gonna be that dude.
Yeah,
Duke, you know what I'm saying,
dude, and he definition of a Duke guy because when he came in, I'm like, and it reminds me a lot of Jordan Goldwire.
Yeah.
This past year, I was like, man, every single time he was on the floor, I'm like, why is this dude getting burned? He's awful. Get him off the court. I hate seeing him. It makes me sick to my stomach. Every time he touches the ball, it's just, he doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, season by season, he gets better. And then by the senior season, he's like, all right, dude, I can't wait to see. I hope, put the ball in that. I trust him. So he's definitely a true Duke guy. One of those guys who is a system guy, and it works.
And his senior year, him and Tyus Jones worked so like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's
Yes.
like it was just like
Yes.
as a coach to watch those dudes feed off each other. It was like it's exactly what you want.
Yeah,
Now,
that's exactly what you want.
my other
Exactly.
team, of course, you all let's see. I'm trying to think. You 26. I don't even know if you was born yet, but it was the 91. No, you wasn't. Nah.
Nope.
It was the
Nope.
91 Duke team with Grant Hill and Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley. Like,
Yeah.
Listen, when they unseated UNLV in the 1991 championship, I was like, yeah, it's Duke for me, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
because the UNLV team was stacked. And then after that,
Yeah.
and then because Grant Hill is actually my favorite Duke player of all time, JJ's in the top five.
I can see that. I get that.
Grant Hill's my favorite Duke player of all time. The Fab Five did not like Grant Hill, but he was doing them in.
I love that movie. I'm a sports nerd anyway, but I love my favorite quote from that 5-5 ESPN movie is when the first time I think it was Chris Webber that said it. It might have been Jalen Rose.
It was Jalen Rose. I know what you're gonna say.
He was like, "Listen, dude, Christian Laettner, I talk a lot of trash, but that dude had some game." I'm like, yeah, I love that quote.
And Jalen was like, I didn't even know Grant Hill, and I didn't like Grant Hill because he had everything that I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when he got to know Grant Hill, he was like, dude can ball. Grant Hill,
yeah.
And listen, I know it ain't the popular opinion, but if Grant Hill doesn't get hurt in the NBA, I'm telling you, he's probably Kobe before Kobe. I'm just.
Oh, that's a hot take.
I'm
man.
just telling.
That's
Listen,
a really hot take.
No, he split the Rookie of the Year with Jason Kidd, but then the next year he literally was unstoppable. I'm telling you, man, and it's like, but that's for a whole nother video or who we think some great NBA players is. But like your top five, since I know JJ Redick is your favorite Duke player of all time, your top five behind JJ Redick, who are the other four?
So in reverse order, I'll go from 5 to 2. Actually, no, I'll go 2 to 5. I'll make it a little easier. All right, so and I hate doing this because it's almost like a 2A, 2B kind of situation. I gotta go 2 is Tyus Jones. How many big shots he made?
A lot.
Yeah, like that, and that's he was a gamer.
Yeah.
He wasn't known as a shooter. He ran the one. I mean, he was almost like a hybrid between a true point guard, like a Rajon Rondo, Pete Maravich kind of type, where he was looking to facilitate, and he could still be a spot up shooter and do what he needed to do. So he hit a lot of big shots. So I love Tyus Jones. I got to put him at number 2. Third, then, as a very, very close 3, and he's an 8'6" dude. Got to go Zion. I loved it. 4. I still love Sheldon Williams. Again, I already referenced him, the landlord.
Yep.
That's and then 5. Oh, let's see. That's There's a lot of names I could pick.
5 is gonna be tough for me. 5 is gonna be tough for me.
I'm gonna make a lot of people angry. It's Grayson Allen.
Oh, you are going to make a lot of people angry.
I think he was innocent in most of the tripping incidents. However, I can relate as a guy who all of a sudden emotions get the best of you. I can understand, sometimes you just get so mad you don't know how to get it out. He made some mistakes, but I think he was a very underappreciated player by a lot of Duke fans because of the, for lack of a better word, drama that surrounded him 24/7. He did bring a lot of it on himself, I understand.
I think I think because of the social media age, the hate for Grayson Allen rivals that of JJ Redick, but the reason why I don't feel like it was as much as the hate for JJ Redick, because JJ Redick was hated during the non-social media era. So.
Yeah. And to be honest, JJ Redick was a lot better. I mean, that was the other thing. JJ Redick was a lot better. He was it didn't matter whether it was Tuesday, in College Park at Maryland, or if it was a Saturday night at Cameron Indoor against Furman, it didn't matter. He was on.
He was on
24/7. He was
as
on.
soon as he stepped on the court.
I think and for me, one of my favorite things about Grayson Allen, I watched a lot of it in high school. That his senior season, all of their senior seasons, Tyus Jones, Jaleel Okafor, Justice Winslow, and I was like, this guy's gonna be. He's the Duke guy, but he's gonna be unsung. He's gonna be the unsung hero, and he's gonna be very exciting.
And he actually played good in the championship.
Yeah, and then he didn't play it. He didn't play very much,
No.
and I'm like, hey man, and Duke's still winning. And people were saying, well, Duke's going to be good. I'm like, yeah, dude, but wait till this Grayson kid starts getting some run. We're going to be even better. This kid's excited. He's going to be good.
Yeah.
And then nothing really happened. He played a little bit here and there. And then all of a sudden it gets Wisconsin. He comes out, and it's his big coming out party, and it worked out well. Yeah. So I was all from that moment. I loved Grayson before, but once he had his show, the championship game, I was like, yeah, this guy, he's a Dookie. He's diving on the floor for loose balls. He's getting steals. He's slapping the floor. This is going to be one of my guys. So that's my 5.
My 5, of course, Grant Hill being number 1. Number 2 has to be Jason Williams. Jason Williams.
That's a great. I forget about him.
I felt like Jason Williams was. I know. So, listen, J.J. Redick is in my top 5. He's number 3. But I felt like Jason Williams, while J.J. Redick was the 3-point assassin, I felt like Jason Williams was what I would have wanted in a player if I put J.J. Redick with somebody who could drive to the rack. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
The 3-pointer was wet, but you could not stop him from getting to the basket. And I feel like he single-handedly led him to a championship. So. But
I can't disagree with you.
So he's number 2. Redick's 3. Trajan Langdon is number 4.
The Alaskan assassin.
The Alaskan.
Oh, that's a great one.
The Redick and Jay Williams before they even got there, like Trajan Langdon. And number 5, I don't know. It's I got to go with Quinn Cook, and it's simply because, like you say, he was a program guy, and he plays basketball, at least his attitude, the way I play, it's like he don't take nothing from nobody, even though he's like listed at 6 foot, but I believe he's probably about 5'10" and a half.
Yeah, maybe on a good day.
Yeah. And I got the signature moment for me for Quinn Cook. Like you said, he was good coming out of high school, but it took him a while to develop, to get into his fit at Duke. They're playing Syracuse, and they're down. They're at Syracuse, and they're down, I think. He hits a shot, and the camera pans in on Quinn Cook, and Quinn Cook was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I was like, "That's what I'm talking about, Quinn Cook. That's what I'm talking about. We don't play with these chumps out here." So
see, that's a great. I love Quinn Cook for that because he was a gamer. He was a little bit of that trash talker guy. He brought that attitude that you need to have from out of at least somebody on an athlete team. And again, like you said, the progression, he was one of those guys that before I was like, dude, this guy stop shooting. Please stop shooting the basketball. Why are you doing it? You're not only doing it to me, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, please stop. But then by his senior season, you're like, all right, I trust this dude to hit a big shot, and he would do that time and time again. Like you said, get out of here, man. You ain't with it.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm a big Quinn Cook fan.
Yeah.
Big Quinn Cook.
So with Coach K leaving, there's going to be all kind of debate. We already know that. Whether it's a homer opinion or not, is Coach K the greatest college basketball coach of all time? Why or why not?
Yes, and it's not close. It's not close. All right. And this is not a homer opinion, and I will argue this topic with anybody until the cows come home. All right. He has won the second most national championships of any head coach in all time. Obviously, John Wooden is probably going to hold that record till the day that nobody walks.
Forever.
Here's the thing. John Wooden won those 10 national championships, and I did my research before I came on here. John Wooden won those 10 natties in 12 years.
Okay.
Basketball definitely at that point, but even now, the eras of college basketball don't really change in in a 12-year. You're not going to go through 2 or 3 eras in a 12-year time period.
Yeah, yeah.
He won a national championship in the early 90s, the 91, 92. He won the back-to-back.
Yep.
Won in 2001, and then he won one in 2010, and then he won one in 2015.
Yep.
Now, I would argue, obviously, the back-to-back seasons, those are pretty much going to be the same team. However, those other 4 teams really, 91, 92, then 2001, 2010, 2015.
Yep.
Those teams are all very, very, very different from each other. 2015, you got a bunch of one-and-done guys. You got 4 one-and-dones and 1 senior. Obviously, we talked about it in Quinn Cook. You got that 1 senior program guy. 2010, you've got blanket program guys. I mean, you got the John Shires, the Kyle Singlers, the Brian Zubeks. Like, it's just blanket program 4-year. To be honest here, the reason, 4 but just white dudes who can ball. That's why people hate Duke. That's what 2010 was. 2001, you're doing it on defense with Shane Battier leading the way.
Yep.
And then 192 in the back-to-backs, you've got a team that's really an all-around team who is offensively oriented. Christian Laettner could obviously hit shots. And then you got Bobby Hurley running the point, and he is a traditional point guard by the definition.
Yes.
So, I mean, just 4 very different teams. John Wooden won it with essentially in the same era altogether. Dean Smith, don't talk to me about Dean Smith. I don't want to hear it. Adolph Rupp, yes, but again, it's the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
And then other than that, the only other people I'd say that are even in the conversation, you're looking at maybe John Calipari and maybe Bill Self and maybe Roy Williams or Jim Boeheim. And I don't think they've done enough national championship-wise to really be in that conversation. So, yes, and that's why. And again, anybody hit me in the comments. Anybody that wants to debate this, I'll be happy to do it. You name it, time, place, I don't care. It's not close. It's Mike Krzyzewski.
Like he said, if you don't agree, hit us in the comments. And if you want to come on the Fan Addict and debate this with my boy Kevin, he ready whenever, wherever, whatever. That's how we get down.
Yep.
I do believe Coach K is top 2. The reason why I say top 2 is because I, unlike you, I know John Wooden won all the championships, but I don't know like how many teams it was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who all he had on his team. And like you said, you made a good point. How the era never really changed. You know what I'm saying? And whereas Coach K did it over a span of 15 to 20 years. With Calipari's had all athletes. So
listen, I mean, and I'm gonna say this, and there's gonna be, I'm sure there's gonna be some people who are not gonna like me for saying this, and they're probably gonna say, well, Coach K is too. He just hadn't got caught. Don Calipari is a cheater. He is a documented cheater. Is it Kenyon Martin that went to UMass?
No. You're talking about Camby, Marcus Camby.
Yes.
Marcus
Okay.
Camby.
If you think Marcus Camby was going to go to UMass without getting paid, you're just delusional.
Well, there's some Coach K haters, some Duke haters out there that say Zion got a little something. They say Clemson was number 1, and then all of a sudden he was going to Duke.
Okay, so I'm gonna be a hypocrite for a moment. At that time, when Calipari was doing it at UMass, it wasn't across the board at that point that it was doing it. Also, with the Zion Williamson thing, the allegation is that it was Nike doing it, not Coach K. So that's I gotta put that in there.
Technicality,
now,
baby.
Yeah, hey, it's if it's Adidas and Nike, it's not. I mean, that's not him.
Yeah.
And lastly, I will say, look, if Mike is doing it, then that leads me to believe that everybody's doing it. I mean, and let's be real, everybody's doing
football and college football, college basketball. If you're high Division 1, you're doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You may not be downright paying players, but I got number one. I'll reference this. I'll say I watched your episode with Ike.
Yeah.
I mean, the things you don't think about App State as being. He's like, dude, of course I had people taking tests for. So I think of that. And then I always reference this story, and I won't name the player just in case it gets like that. So I was a freshman at the University of South Carolina, and I'm parking in the parking garage. I'm parking in the Blossom Street parking garage, and that was the year that that was Jadavion's last year at South Carolina. There was another high-profile player at the time, football player at South Carolina, who also parked in the same parking garage that I did. Or I don't know if he parked there, but he definitely was parking his car there at that point in time. Anyway, so this individual, I'm walking out from some extracurricular activities around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, coming back. And I see this unnamed player, and he is driving let's see, so that was 2013, so it would have been a 2012. Well, let's see now, it was 2012, so it was a brand new 2012 GMC 1500 lifted. I mean, this is a $40,000-$50,000 truck. This cat did not afford this truck on his own dime, or mama and daddy didn't pay for it. So everybody's doing it. And people who say they don't, you're wrong. You're lying to yourself. It's not amateur athletics. Again, that's an episode for another day. But
yeah,
it's not,
especially with the name, image, and likeness thing coming out. It's gonna be a whole bunch of people getting some stuff talking about. Oh yeah, well he did a commercial spot for me. Like, well, we ain't never seen that commercial. So
yeah, what used car lot did you work for?
Exactly. So it's about to get out of control now. So I mean, South Carolina, the state of South Carolina, just the guys went to Clemson and signed it yesterday. So I mean, Georgia's got it. I think Texas has got it. Cali's got it.
California's got it. Yeah,
I think Florida's trying to have it before the end of July. It's like, I mean,
and everybody's going to do it because they got to keep up. I mean, if I can't go and make money off my likeness in this state, but I can go to this school and make money, I'm going to go to that school. So everybody's going to do it to keep up.
You're right. I mean, I think it's pros and cons. I mean, I'm all for the players, having a benefit, but I'm not. It's a tricky situation. Let's just say that, because this is the thing. I do believe, college football is a $1 billion industry, and there are Power 5 Division I schools that don't have the resources that they should be. Now, that's not because they don't have the money, because they're making the money, and I just don't think that's right. But the whole narrative that got this whole name, image, and likeness thing started was, players are going. I remember, now I don't know about basketball players, but football players. Because football at high school and college level, that's what drives the athletic department. That's football tickets, football sales, that's what drives it. To say a football player is going without eating is because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and he's hungry and he ain't got no money. But he didn't go during the regular cafeteria, because you're on a lunch plan, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, again, my nephew, Zach played, and when I used to, I call him when he first got to school. I said, "Hey, you need anything?" I put a little money in your account, whatever. I did that for the first 6 months, and then I called him around about March of his freshman year. I was like, "Hey, you need anything? Need me to put any money in your account?" He's like, "I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't really need no money for nothing." He's like, I can walk in, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I can walk in Subway and they give me food. It's like, look, I'm not saying that's a lot, but to say that you going without. Now, if you want to argue that because they making billions of dollars, we should get, players should get a cut, that's different.
He should get his fair cut.
Yeah, that's different. But to say that you hungry, nah.
Yeah, these, like you said, they're not going without unless it's a very, a hit or miss situation.
Yeah.
And then I think, also, people say, well, it's amateur athletics, this and the other. I think everybody's complicit in it. The NCAA is turning a blind eye to a lot of it. And people say, well, everybody's doing it. It's hard for the NCAA to keep up, this and that. Well, again, another quick story. So for anybody who doesn't know, I live near Furman University. I will put it like that. Like I said, my grandpa, Duke alum, class of 54. They're also big Furman football fans. My grandma and him gave a lot of money to Furman, a lot of money. And we were season ticket holders for football games. And we would always take these underprivileged kids a lot of times who would come to Furman to play football, we're like, all right, we'll take them out for, a dinner out on the town one night. So 5 or 6 of them, of course, they ended up usually being star players. But we're like, well, they're just making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or turkey and cheese sandwiches. That's what they're living off of. We're like, all right, well, we'll take them out for a meal at Applebee's or whatever. Or mom was like, I'll whoop you up a nice home cooked meal because I know you haven't had a home cooked meal in forever. I'll whoop you up something nice. 5 or 6 of y'all come over. We'll eat. We'll hang out. It'll be a good time. So we did this for years and years, 5 or 6 years. Well, we had 4 or 5 players over, and they came and they ate. A couple weeks go by, and we call them up and say, hey, man, do y'all want to come back? We're thinking about having y'all back this weekend. And he said, nah, we can't do that. I was like, well, what's going on? And they're like, well, we can't do that. 2 days later, I'll never forget a letter. I get home from school. I picked up the mail on my way in. I come walking in. I hand the mail to my grandpa. My grandpa looks through the mail. There's a letter there, and it's got the NCAA letterhead on it. And it basically said in no uncertain terms, you are no longer to have these nice young gentlemen over to your house for dinner. This is improper benefits. I'm like, all right, cool. No more. Never again. And since then, we never did it. We never violated. But I'll say that the fact that Furman's football program is getting noticed by the NCAA tells me that the NCAA is all reaching. They are all seeing. They are all knowing. They know they've got their tentacles and everything.
Yep.
They know what's going on. They're just turning a blind eye to it because it helps them too.
Exactly. It is the more money that goes to these schools, the better the teams are, the better the product, the more money, the more TV deals. All of this stuff affects the NCAA, and they really don't even do a lot other than restrict transfers until last year. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all really
and now that everybody's getting together and saying, hey man, we really don't need the NCAA anymore. We can just do this on our own. Now the NCAA, whoa, wait. We'll give you guys can transfer in the SEC. Yep. That's fine. I don't care. You guys can go here and play immediately, or you guys can, sign those image and likeness deals. That's okay. We still just want to just let us be here. We're fine. Just please leave us be.
They can't give up their piece of the pie, man. Because
hell, I wouldn't either.
Again, $1 billion industry. All right, so we'll stay tuned in 2021 and 2022 for Coach K's retirement tour. Kevin, I appreciate you coming into the Fan Addict and chopping it up with us about some Duke and some college basketball. We'll have to have you on. Maybe even one of these fans that get at you in the comments. Who knows?
I'm here. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. It was a blast.
No problem. But for everybody in YouTube land, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. We trying to beat the algorithm, get to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all know how it works. To come back for some more good content. For Kevin, the resident Duke fan, I'm Coach I. We out of here.